What's up? What's up? We Oliveira here, talking from my apartment in Batumi, Georgia. And this video, I'm gonna do a react from a video that I just see here randomly on YouTube. Okay, it's a guy called Myron, which is I don't know. I never see this guy before, so probably he's American. And here talking up with ex porn star. So the title is "Why Men Aren't Married Modern Women." Probably they're gonna see like her opinion about that. So it's gonna be crazy to see this video. So if you're new to this channel, please subscribe in this channel. I'm the goal to reach 1,000 subscribers. Okay, so subscribe this channel would be very helpful. Okay, so let's start the video.
Respect me, doesn't respect masculinity in general.
I think what I see a lot now is like men just like totally giving up, taking their ball, going home and saying like, I don't want to have values or principles anymore because like women suck.
The problem is that like with feminism and other
Triad or who isn't going to. You have to be able to kind of evolve past that more primitive state and say, if I'm being attracted to like someone that has dark triad or who isn't going to be there for the goals that I have, which is like to start a family, long-term marriage, then maybe don't go after that guy. So instead we're kind of letting our biology make bad decisions for us. And you have
by the father and the brother.
Look her face, guys. Like you can see that that face of girls that have like that past. You guys, if you guys smart, you guys notice at the first moment. And she is talking about her past, which is probably very dark. I don't know who is her. I couldn't find a name. So if you guys know her name, please leave the comment below.
Brother was so important and arranged marriages were a thing because, you know, if you give women the ability to pick their own partners, you guys make really bad mistakes early on when your value is at its highest. And then by the time you're, you know, ready to settle down, your value's been depleted to a guy that might want it. That's why Virginia was such a big thing for so long.
Well, also though, it's kind of alluding to the fact that didn't have issues as well because there was a lot more violence against women back then too with arranged marriages and before divorce was a thing, and you had master and head laws that up until the 70s like wasn't a thing as long as you were married to your right, like that's not okay. So we're pretending that like as long as like women are,
I mean, sex is a duty for a woman to her man, and
it is a
Bible.
duty, but like does any man want to have sex with someone who doesn't want to have like that? Like how do you have forceful sex with someone and still want to do
yeah,
that?
I mean, we could definitely say that's messed up, but I think that's important.
This is crazy, right? To hear an opinion about a porn star talk about concept, if you should do a sex or not, if you want or not. I believe that a woman that like be a prostitute or a porn star, I don't think that she getting like so much pleasure doing that because it's just a job, it's just a profession, and you don't have a passion, you know. I believe that when you exchange energy, women usually they absorb more this energy. So think about it, how many men she having sex, she absorbing all those energy. This is crazy.
Important to understand that, like, right, women don't really have to align with their duties as a wife, but men almost always have to align with their duties.
I think both should.
Yeah, for sure. But what I'm saying is that, like, okay, so the problem is that, like, with feminism and other things is like women want the privileges and the benefits of chivalry and like the security of marriage and the sanctity of that, but they don't want to hold up their end of the bargain. Versus like for men, right? Like we have to do what we're supposed to do, and if we don't, we deal with consequences for it. You know, women initiate most breakups, they initiate most divorces, etc. So, you know, if I'd say, you know what, I don't feel like paying the bills anymore, like you would look at me like I'm crazy. But like when women say, well, I don't want to fuck my husband anymore, it's completely socially acceptable, right?
It's crazy. This is exactly, it's totally true. You know, in this modern world, like it's like the modern woman wants a traditional man, but they don't want to do what a traditional woman should do. You know, see, just like they demand so much things, but they don't want something. They don't do something in return. Crazy.
So, and this is a big reason actually why I tell guys like marriage nowadays with the marriage courts involved and getting married through the state isn't in your best interest because you don't have leverage anymore. And we don't have leverage over women. They behave very poorly, if I'm going to be honest.
What's the motivation in marriage?
For men or women?
For a man.
Honestly, dude, I mean, in today's day and age, you really don't get any real benefit besides the title. You can get everything through a regular relationship. Now, again, I think you can marry religiously, and I think that's great because having children out of wedlock's L. But to get the state involved, that's where I run into issues.
I do agree. I recently got married. It's for family. It's for moral tradition.
Of course,
It's for
absolutely.
raising strong, honorable individuals. I told Allison,
Better for the kids.
absolutely, and that's what it's all about. So I completely agree. The courts are broken. No fault divorce is broken. But I didn't get married for myself. I did it for my child, who's going to be here very soon.
Yeah.
Because I want them to grow up with strong moral tradition and understanding that there is duty and responsibility.
Agreed. And that's
I think these guys, they're probably the Americans because of the accent, and I understand that it's like it's almost impossible to find a woman like a serious woman to marry there. So that's the reason, for example, Donald Trump, most of his ex-wife, they are not Americans, they are Slavics. Because, for example, I'm here, Georgia, and here you can see the girls, they still preserve this family value. The country, the people here, they still preserve the family value. So there are a new term called passport bro, because most men, most Americans, even in Brazil, for example, they are traveling to different countries, especially in Eastern Europe and some countries in Asia too, to find those women to marry, because there is impossible. Western Europe too is totally destroyed.
why I tell guys, if you're going to get married, do it religiously. Don't necessarily do it with the state or try to avoid the state, because the nuclear family with, married parents is going to be significantly better. But what I'm trying to illustrate here is that, like, what I've realized with women is, like, there's more social acceptance for them breaching the contract than there is for men.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's my, yeah.
Well, it depends on like what parts are being breached. If we're talking about sex, that's something that's like so intimate, and then that will affect the relationship. Like if you force
Well, most marriages are sexless.
right, and I don't think that's healthy. I don't think
Yeah.
that's okay. Like why are you in a relationship then? So I think a lot of women
But I think
do
that's the norm, because women aren't really held to like a standard on their side when it comes to marriage obligations.
Yeah, it's confusing because I've heard it phrased kind of similarly, where a woman is tricking a man into monogamy, but really it's celibacy, right? So I'm like promising you monogamy.
They're crazy about the relationship. Most women, they don't want to like having sex or keep the sexual activities, and then they complain about their man cheat on her, you know. And they can say everything. I did everything. No, like this is important for men. It's like a basic necessity. Think about what is the basic necessity for a woman. It's like probably someone like a provider, a woman, a man that can take care of her. For a man, sex is a basic necessity. Like they do this to get out the stress. So think about it. They spend the whole day working hard to provide a can home. This is something that makes he feel relaxed. Come home with a feminine woman, not a woman that you now. I'm not gonna do that. It's not my obligation. That's making sense, right?
But then once we become in that monogamous relationship, now you get like marital deathbed, and then what's the point?
Yeah, because I mean, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but like, a woman's main agency is her sexuality. So if she doesn't give you that, then like,
It shouldn't be weaponized. I firmly like I hate when I see women of like, you don't do this, I'm not having sex with you. I don't think that that's healthy.
they leverage sex for compliance.
Right. I don't think that's okay. But I'm saying like if a woman isn't having sex because like her body is telling her not to, like there's like some kind of reaction that she's getting, she's like, it's not working, like nothing is getting lubricated, there's no arousal, she doesn't feel safe, then you have to look at like bigger issues within that relationship. So like what
She
is
got
there?
married to him, so safety should be.
Well, maybe, but people change too over time. So it comes back to like not doing your duty. So if you do have a man that's like not showing up, not following through, not doing his end in whatever way that was agreed upon within that relationship, her body is going to say like unsafe, unpredictable, unreliable.
There's only one way to deal with that, though.
Force.
No, not. No. Well, of course. I mean, that's not the way I was gonna say. This is why it's so important for men to like stay attractive and have other options. Because women only respond favorably to men that have other options that can replace her. Women behave the best when you can leave them.
I think we have a problem with dishonor, and
Guys, this is important. Like you always try to become better, because she feel attractive for a man when she met you, and most men usually they start doing that. I always think about my ex girlfriends. If I'm better than before, like if I analyze who I was before her and now, if I feel that I'm better, I know that I'm becoming is a good point. Otherwise, if it's the opposite and I'm becoming getting worse, she's not gonna feel attractive on me. The same for your ex relationship. If you see that your ex girlfriend or your ex relationship, they still get stuck, it means that you move on. You're becoming better. You know.
And I don't know, but a lot of the stuff that I hear, while I do agree and understand what you're saying, I hear a lot of guys who say things like men are disposable, and it's true.
Yeah.
From an evolutionary standpoint. But it's crazy to me that there are guys who are very, very selfish, like I should get what I want out of everything. And it's like, I don't know, the way I view this society is I do like the chivalry. I like the hero charging into battle, sacrificing himself for the greater good, for building something brilliant, planting trees whose shade he knows he will never sit beneath. And that is something that men need to accept. If you were a guy, life will be harder in a lot of ways. It's not going to be fair to you. You will be treated as disposable garbage. You will be insulted. And that is part of a man being transformed from a wad of cookie dough into being carved out of stone. So all these guys out there that are like, it's not fair, it's not fair. Stop being a weak little bitch. Life's never going to be fair to you. It's going to treat you like crap. It's going to throw you in the mud and spit in your face. And then you have to stand up and say, that's what being a guy is.
Yeah. And I think
This guy sounds like an Andrew Tate. He tried to imitate Andrew Tate. It's like reminds me of him. But he's telling the truth. This is the life is not fair, especially for men. Women most of the time they are privileged. Men not, unless if you're born rich.
if a guy does, traverse these obstacles, that their woman needs to follow their lead and be completely submissive. And, this is why I'm so big on like male leadership. Like, I think anything where women are in the lead, it leads to problems. It's very problematic. And,
Started more wars. Is that true?
What, women?
I heard that female leaders have started more wars than men. Let me ask.
Yeah, I've heard that stat too. But I think the biggest thing is when it comes to relationships, because too many guys are like okay with letting their wife or their girlfriend run things, and that's like a Trojan horse to the end of the relationship because they're told you and your woman are equal partnerships, and that just sounds good on paper but doesn't work.
Yeah, Genghis Khan set his wife to be the administrator of the capital when he was on campaign. Like, she was a brilliant administrator. And I think one of the values of marriage through the legal system is you get to share money and you can give her all your money to administrate.
I think that's bad.
So it says actually,
it takes a load off if you're a businessman.
So this is interesting. Historically, through all of human history, men have started more wars. Why? Well, there's more male leaders. However, in modern society, it's actually comparable. Women and men start wars at nearly the same rates. So that's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I see your perspective, but I think, I'm a big proponent of like separate bank accounts, your woman not having access to your money, because I think it could just be problematic. But what I've realized is this: when it comes to marriage and dealing with women nowadays, you got to come at it almost from like a defensive standpoint where if she were to leave you or divorce you or whatever, you're mitigating as much risk and damage as possible, because the problem is that the family courts and the marriage system that we have nowadays incentivizes women to leave you and they get rewarded for it. So I'm like, damn, if you're going to get in a business contract with someone that's incentivized to break it, like that's not good on your end. So you need to hedge your bets and have things in place where you protect your assets.
That's true. Like about the law, they always protect a lot. The woman depends on the country where you are. That's why you need to take care about it. And most men, like a passport bros, are called passport bros. I have a video talking about here on my channel where most men, they are traveling to different countries, right? Because they can't handle the situation in their own country. For example, for me in Brazil, it's impossible. The law there is out of control, I can't do anything. I can't take care of my kids. Like once I have a family, I want to have control of my kids. I want to have control of the situation, and the government, they take care of everything. So it's very annoying. You can't do whatever you want. We understand that have some things that need to take care, of course, but sometimes about you want to show a value to become a man, and your woman too. And you can't because of the state, because of the government.
This one matters for Western context. From 1480 to 1913, European queens were 27% more likely to engage in military conflict than kings.
Elizabeth, how much of it was
my
Elizabeth?
stats now? Women suck as
Elizabeth,
leaders too. Let's go.
Yep.
I knew it.
She was a beast.
She was a beast.
Yeah, she was an animal.
Because women always say women ran the world, it would be better, and I'm like,
Not the European ones, I guess.
yeah, I guess not. Yeah.
When it comes to like women upholding their aspect of the social contract. I feel like if a man follows through on his word and makes her like at least once a week, you ever have an unforgettable orgasm? I don't know if you guys, where it's like you still remember it, like that you should be doing to your wife weekly, and she will always.
Well, that's
be there for
assuming
you.
like she wants to have sex in the first place, though, which I think is the biggest problem. Is that like women just like, I don't feel it anymore. You know what I mean? And this is what I mean when I say like, women's attraction is backwards. Like the things that they're aroused by that they actually want, like are almost detrimental to their long-term security. This is why like it's so important for the guy to just be attractive, keep his sexual market value high, and then have the potential to cheat on her. Am I saying go out and smash a bunch of chicks? No, but you definitely need to be capable of doing it because women only respond favorably to men that can replace them, unfortunately.
I've heard this, so I'm interested.
Exactly. Like you always keeping high, you to be attractive. So like as she will see, like, oh my God, like I can lose this guy if I don't do what I need to do. You know, fortunately, it is what it is.
How Candace views it. There's like a meme, and it's that women want to date a man who they feel could leave them at any moment for any woman, and they want a man who is nice to them, but they know he doesn't have to be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I would agree with all of that. And going back to, so I hate to say red pill because I think it's more black pill when you have like these nihilistic, like really angry dudes online. Like red pill to me seems like you're based in reality, right? You're not so emotionally charged, but it's this idea that they're not going to be respectful to women anymore. They're not going to be chivalrous because of feminism. So like you want to be treated equally, then now I'm going to treat you like a dude instead of like recognizing that we are vastly different creatures. So it's almost weird because it's like this horseshoe thing where we're going into liberalism where like there's no difference between men and women. Like no, there are fundamental differences. And then if you kind of double down and go into the leadership position that a lot of these guys are saying, if you're a leader, you're not going to be influenced by like, I hate to say the word, but like a subordinate or a submissive or someone that like you're supposed to be leading. You're going to be who you are regardless of that influence. So if you have these principles that are I'm going to open the door, I'm going to be respectful, I'm going to always operate as my highest self regardless of the other outside influences because those are my principles. I think what I see a lot now is like men just like totally giving up, taking their ball, going home and saying like, I don't want to have values or principles anymore because like women suck.
MGTOW.
Not all women suck. There are plenty that do, and not all guys are great and principled either. So it's like be the best version of yourself, the strongest version of yourself. Be principled in your actions, regardless of like quote feminism.
Yeah, I mean, I think for
Guys, I think that's it. Otherwise, the video is gonna be too long. But just to finalize what she say, um, keep your principle is important. Unless if you are in a place where I have a more probability to find those women that deserve this principle. Probably they are in US. There, like it's gonna be very difficult. Depends on the states, and that's why this movement of passport bro are growing. The guys they are moving to different places. Here, for example, I have a friend from different countries in Canada, US. So you should travel the world. That's why I always try to